family is about. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Roses family. Thank you for joining us in our beautiful journey that we are starting to create. Well, it's been created, but this is going out to the world on YouTube for our friends, family, and all our new friends. And a few years ago, I started watching YouTube. It was something that inspired me. I saw so many other families that were able to post up their content of their family, real life things. Not only that, but what I really liked about it was that I will be able to put up these videos online. So in the future, my friends, my family, especially my children, will be able to look back and be able to see all this beautiful creation and see how they grew. I have creative children. I have a 16-year-old, I have a 12-year-old, and a 3-year-old. My boyfriend and I have been together, known each other for so many years now, for about 19 years, going on 19 years. It's been rough. It wasn't easy. We've been together from high school, but a lot of things happen in between. But I can thank God today that we are a family, that we are here. We are able to enjoy our children and create these beautiful memories for them. I want to talk a little bit about who we are. I was born and raised in Brooklyn. Well, born in Manhattan, because if I tell you what my mom have taught me about when I was supposed to be born and where I was supposed to be born, it was crazy. But I happened to be born in Manhattan and raised in Brooklyn my whole life until I was 15 years old, which was my first year of high school. I had graduated from junior high school and came to Long Island. My parents decided to move out here. I didn't know much people. I think I only had one aunt at the time that lived here, and that's about it. And so in that bus stop, I was able to meet a couple of friends that so happened that they were family with my boyfriend. And I didn't meet him right away. I met him a few months into me living in this town. When I met him, it was bizarre. It was like in a moment where I didn't think I would meet anybody or to feel the way I felt towards this person, because I was young. Imagine, I was just 15 years old when I met him. All his friends and some of his cousins that I met at the school bus were the cause of all that. And it was amazing. Since we first met, we were always together. We were inseparable. This boy really didn't like to go to school. It was really, really funny. He didn't like to go to school, but he would go, especially after he met me. He would go. He would pick me up so early in the morning to take me to school. He would wait for me after school, bring me home. It was, that high school love. It was amazing. I loved it. I loved the way we met. I loved all of that. A year into our relationship, I became pregnant. I was 17 years old. I became pregnant with my first child. Her name is Gianna. And that made us learn a lot of things, but we were very young. We were together maybe 2 or 3 years, and then we broke up. He had, we went our separate ways. He did his life. I did mine. In that course of time, we never lost communication. Obviously, one, because of our child, and two, because we always loved each other. We just didn't know how to manage at the time. We didn't know how to make things work at the time. I'm not gonna lie, he did try a lot at the beginning, but I was so in denial. I had negativity being said to me because I was young. A lot of people were like, oh, you're not the first, you're not the last, don't worry about it. We had parents, thank God, that were always there for us. The support was always there, but our relationship is like we weren't on the same page. I was about like 19 years old at the time now. 19, 20 years old. So things happened. He went his way, I went my way. We had lives, separate lives, but we always maintained that communication. Whenever I had to speak about my daughter to him, you know, whatever it was, he was always there also. It was really weird. It was weird when we weren't together, because it's like when we used to see each other or we would speak to each other on the phone, we already knew if we were doing okay, if we felt some type of way, because our love, the connection of our love was always very, very strong. But years had went by, and I was scared. I was scared sometimes, like, to give in, because I didn't know if it was gonna work. And maybe at the time he felt sure where he was, so he didn't want to play with fire, and then we lead to the same thing all over again, where we wouldn't be together again. But something amazing happened. I used to always pray. I prayed every day, every night. I would wake up whenever I had that worst day ever, that you know that you needed that best friend, and not always you would be able to like call that person. I felt like so lonely. I would pray. I would be like, oh my God, I just want my best friend back. I want us to have that relationship again, where we will be able to go through whatever it was, and there he was, or there I was. But something amazing did happen. One day we were unexpectedly, oh my God, I'm so red because I think about it and it still like makes me blush. Seriously, it makes me blush. It's just a feeling that every time I talk about it, or I revive it, or I think of it, or whatever, especially making this video and being able to tell you, all of you guys, what I've been through a little bit, you know, so you could get to know who we are. It enlightens my heart. I love the feeling, because that one day I received this one call. He will always call me anonymous. That's one thing. So every time that phone number would come, like it said unknown, I wasn't certain who it was, but like my heart sometimes would be like 100% right that it was him. And I was out and about doing things for my kids. I received this phone call, and it was him. Prior to that phone call, I had received phone calls like that a couple of times, where he would call me and say, oh, you know, would you like to meet up so we can have some lunch or dinner, or just go out to eat and talk? And because I was so afraid of like getting into something, even though it felt real, like I was still scared to go into something where I didn't know where it was gonna go, but I didn't want it to fail. I wanted it to be real. I wanted to go into this relationship, if that was ever to happen again. I wanted it to be real. I wanted it to last forever. I didn't want to go through what we went through as a young couple. And so that one phone call changed everything. It changed my whole life. When I picked up, the phone call didn't go. I couldn't hear who was on the other side. His mother so happens to also have an unknown number. Every time she would call me, I called her, and it wasn't her. She didn't call me. I had to go through other means to get him to like call me back. I don't know if that was the cause of him calling me back, or if he just decided like, oh, let me try again and call me. So he did. He called me again. And when I answered, I heard his voice. I was like, oh, okay, like he's calling, but you know, I was thinking maybe it's just something for my daughter. I don't know. So when I answered the phone call, he asked me like, oh, how you doing? What are you doing? And me, I was like all gully and stuff, like, oh, you know, I'm just out shopping for the girls. What's up? And he was like, would you like to meet up? And I want to talk to you about some stuff and whatever. And I didn't think about it. I didn't think about it the way I thought of it prior times that he would call me and you know, like basically ask me the same thing. I didn't think about it. I just went ahead and I was like, okay. And he's like, all right, so I'll meet you like in 20 minutes. Oh my God, listen. I was like maybe 5-6 minutes away from my house, a drive. And I finished what I was doing like in 2 minutes and I drove home. I remember that I had stepped into my house. I think I got ready so fast, but not fast enough because I'm not sure if he was around there or what. But the next thing was he's calling me like, oh, I'm outside. And I'm like, well, you're going to have to give me some time. And yeah, and it started all over again. Like the first time when I first met him, it started like that. It started like instantly. Instantly, we knew that that's where we wanted to be. That day we cried, we spoke about so many things, but we kept it quiet. We kept it quiet for maybe like a year or so because we didn't want to make this illusion in my daughter's mind where she would be like, oh, my parents are together again, and oh my God, you know, like we didn't want to do that to her right away because even though things did start right away, the best way ever, like that you could ever imagine, we still wanted to be careful. We wanted to go into it and being 100% sure that that's where we wanted to be. So long story short, before I keep going, because I could keep going with that story forever, we did take it anonymously for like a whole year. But there were some people who weren't stupid. They knew something was going on. You know, sometimes we would appear in the same places together and they would be like, why are these two in this, you know, here the same day or whatever. Like it would be places that we would go often but never together. A little bit later that year, before we told our daughter, we went away. We went on our little secret trip. We went away a couple of times, but this time we went away. We went to Mexico. And let me tell you, that was like one of the best trips ever. It was like it sealed the deal. And when we came back, we were so sunburned that when my daughter saw him, well, first of all, she saw me first. And I was so burned and she wanted to see pictures, but I would only show her pictures where I was by myself. She didn't know who I went with. And then she saw her father a few days later, and she was like, why is he also burned? Like, it was bizarre, right? Like, my mom is burned, like, she's sunburned, and so is my dad. Like, so she is a very smart girl. So I already knew that she was putting two and two together. And a few days after that, we got together. We took her out by herself to speak to her and let her know what was going on. And she had already a gist of what was going on. And she told us, like, I sort of knew that something was going on because it was just weird, you know. And she was just, like, telling us little things here and there that she would suspect that we were seeing each other. But it was amazing. Just the look in her face, it was amazing to be able to give that news to my daughter, and that, you know, we were able to rekindle everything all again. There's a lot more to this story, which I did skip a part, not intentionally, just that I got into, you know, how we met and things that happened. At the time that we weren't together, that he was doing his life, I was doing my life, I had a boyfriend. It wasn't something so serious at the beginning, and then I became pregnant with his child. I'm a mom, you know. I already have a daughter. I couldn't get rid of it. I felt guilty if I was like, oh, I'm not gonna have this baby, let me just get rid of it. It would have been easy, right? It would have been an easy way out, but I didn't. I took up on the responsibility of, caring for this child that was coming on the way, even if her father and I weren't in the best terms. But I had her, and she was like a huge blessing. Her and my daughter, they instantly, like, they bonded. As soon as Gianna knew that I was pregnant, she was just like, my baby. We didn't know what it was until when we find out it's her sister. She was just like, oh my sister, my sister. She would say stories to her grandmother of how I was gonna give birth and how things that she wanted to do. Like, she was just a little girl, but she had a big imagination, and she loved this baby that was on the way already. And I tried to make that relationship work, but unfortunately it didn't. Things happen for everything in life happens for a reason. And that's something that I believe so strongly, that we are put in this world for a mission. We have our own things to discover, to go through, but there's a purpose for everything that happens in our lives. And so, when I had my daughter, I really thought that was gonna be like, even if I had like this little something in me that told me that my boyfriend and I, Gianna's father, and I was gonna get together again, at the same time it was like, I already have a child with somebody else. I don't think he's gonna look my way anymore. Like, he would conversate with me, or and barely, because a lot of the things used to go through third parties. But when you in that situation, you just think like, no, he's not ever gonna look my way. Like, why would he get with someone? Even if he had a child with me, why would he get with me that I have a child with somebody else? I did try to make that relationship work, don't get me wrong, but it just didn't work. It didn't at all. And I took upon another journey where I had to be a single mom of two this time. And we make a lot of mistakes. We meet the wrong people, but all those things are things for you to learn, these lessons that you just don't understand at the moment. But when that one phone call that he called me, it was like amazing. It's like, I believe in God, but damn, God freaking exists. Like, he doesn't leave his child there just to like wonder forever, like, what's gonna happen with me? Like, am I ever gonna meet somebody that's gonna want to be with me? I have 2 kids, 2 different fathers, But for him to call me and like want to like get with me and make things work, and it was like the most amazing thing ever. So yeah, I really, really thank God. That's like his bonus child, He treats her the same as he treats Gianna. He gives her everything the same, no difference at all. When we were able to rekindle everything and work hard and have goals and things that we wanted to do for our family, we end up buying our first home. Before we bought our first home, we were trying to get it before I gave birth, because at the time I became pregnant, and while we were like house hunting and things like that, and my daughter Penelope, our 3rd child, came. And maybe she was like about 5 months when we moved into our first home. And ever since, it's been such a blessing. We've worked hard towards a lot of things, a lot of our goals that we wanted to achieve, and we have till this day. With that being said, never give up on love. That's one thing. I know that many times we meet people that you think, oh my God, this is gonna be my forever, and it doesn't work. Or maybe you had that one boyfriend where you're just like, that was who I wanted to be with. Or so many different situations that you could put yourself into, or maybe you just haven't met that person, and it will happen. But for me, I can say that there is a higher power out there where don't lose your faith. Continue. Just, move on and just let it be. Now we are stronger, we are wiser. You know, we work hard and we put a lot into and we don't have to put like all this effort into our relationship. Yes, but it comes naturally. And when you don't have to work hard or you don't have to prove yourself to someone, it's like you have this peaceful life. You just live a day-to-day life. You guys work together, you guys make things happen, and it happens. But love does exist. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment if you guys would like to know anything else. Don't forget to like this video. First of all, subscribe. Also, turn on your post notification bell so you will get notified when we upload any other video and you won't miss out on our little journey. Thank you so much and welcome again to the Roses family, and you will be seeing us soon again. Bye bye.